From haunted mansions to ancient historical landmarks, there are plenty of spooky locations in China that would terrify even the biggest paranormal enthusiasts. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Kennedy, and today we are going to be counting down top 10 haunted places in China that are pure evil. Starting us off at number 10, we have Fengdu City. Nestled on the banks of the Yangtze River, Fengdu Ghost City's spooky past dates back over 2,000 years, and the legend associated with it is bone-chilling to say the least. As the story goes, thousands of years ago, two Eastern Han Dynasty imperial officials named Ying Changsheng and Wang Fangpin came to the city to practice Taoist rituals that eventually made them immortal. Combining their surnames produced the phrase Ying Wang, which means King of Hell, and they were said to drag all the local villagers into the underworld. Fast forward to today, and the area is surrounded by temples and shrines dedicated to the underworld, and visitors who dare enter can journey through the dark paintings and sculptures lining the temple walls, each depicting scenes of villagers being tormented for their sins. But even scarier is that Fengdu is home to 3 sites that ghosts must visit before they can visit the underworld: Nothing to be Done Bridge, Ghost Torturing Pass, and Tianzi Palace. It's said ghosts must take tests at each place, and that those who will pass go to heaven, and those who fail will go to hell. Moving on to number 9, Yangshan Fan Dian Hotel. It wouldn't be the first creepy and haunted hotel, and it most certainly won't be the last. This 220-room hotel, located in the city Shangda, north of Beijing, overlooks the Yangtze River, and it was supposedly built on land that was once a part of the Qing dynasty's royal gardens. Said to be haunted by the Empress Siqi, many guests and hotel staff alike have reported seeing her ghostly apparition float through the halls. But be careful, she is not always friendly. While some accounts merely mention that she likes to appear on the 8th floor and look at her old gardens, some of the more terrifying encounters claim her spirit will be sitting eerily in the shadows of random hotel rooms, and if you look directly at her, she will lunge right at you as if she's about to attack, right before turning into mist and disappearing. And then she does it all over again. Moving on to number 8, the Forbidden City. Located in Beijing, the Forbidden City was built in the early 15th century during the Ming and Qing dynasties under the reign of the Emperor Yongle, who was infamous for his wickedness. For example, on one occasion, he tried to suppress a scandal by slaughtering 2,800 people. But really, execution of any kind was not uncommon, and anyone who went against the emperor's rule was easily removed. In the following few thousand years, the Forbidden City remained an imperial palace and became the site of many deaths, homicides, assassinations, and executions. So really, it's no wonder that the place is haunted. In fact, ever since it was opened to the public in the 1940s, people have reported seeing ghostly apparitions. Some claim to have seen the ghosts of eunuchs, brides, and soldiers, while others have heard women talking and laughing, a woman in white crying, or even heard eerie music playing out of nowhere. But scariest of all are the sightings from 1995. One of the guards encountered a woman in black, whom he initially took to be a trespasser. But when the woman turned to speak to him, he saw she had no face. I would not be returning to that job if it were me. Moving on to number 7, Huguang Huiguan. In 1807, a wealthy philanthropist had the Huguang Huiguan Guild Hall constructed in Beijing with only the best of intentions, to provide a traditional gathering place for the community as well as shelter to those who needed it. But little did he know that the chosen site was partially on top of an ancient graveyard, and the deceased apparently didn't appreciate accommodate the disturbance of their final resting place. And ever since, the building, which now operates as an opera house and museum, is said to be haunted. According to one story, in the early 1900s, the owners hired a housekeeper who had been severely disfigured by leprosy, and apparently the man's appearance was thought to repel the ghosts, so they stayed dormant for the time he worked there. But after he left, the ghosts returned. Ever since, people have heard screaming and seen strange sights at all hours of the day, and legend has it that anyone who tries to throw a stone on the property will be haunted and followed by scolding ghosts for as long as they remain. Moving on to number 6, Keiseiku Execution Grounds. Located in western Beijing, during imperial times, the Keiseiku Execution Grounds, as the eerie name would suggest, were a location where public executions were carried out as a form of capital punishment. Those convicted of treason or serious crimes against their family were brought here to be tormented and executed by a variety of cruelties, including beheading, strangulation, or something called lingqi, which is known as death by 1,000 cuts. On the day of the deed, which was always scheduled promptly at 11:30, it was customary for the convicted to be carted into a wine shop for one final drink of rice wine before facing their slow and painful death. So, as you can imagine, there are a lot of reports of spooky and haunted phenomena. Nowadays, while it no longer serves its original purpose, visitors passing by have reported encountering the spirits of the dead when strolling around these haunted streets. And some even say that if you visit right at 11:30 a.m., you can still hear the screams of all of those who lost their lives. Moving on to number 5, Tunwan Road. Built in 1977, Tunwan Road is a very busy highway that is said to be one of the most haunted and dangerous stretches of road in the entire world. According to the South China Morning Post, there were 250 traffic accidents on the highway between 2010 and 2012, and many suspect that with each death, even more accidents are bound to occur. Citizens claim that the ghosts who died on this highway continue to haunt it, and some even think there are some malicious, vengeful spirits looking for revenge on their lives taken too soon. The reason being is that some claim that while driving on the road, they have suddenly seen a ghost appear in front of their car, forcing them to swerve in a panic and almost crash, while others claim that spirits have actually seized control of their vehicle and driven them off a bridge. So I would definitely avoid this one if you can. Moving on to number 4, Se Ying Pun Community Complex. Located on High Street, Hong Kong, the Se Ying Pun Community Complex was built in 1892 with the mission of providing housing for European nurses. But during World War II, under Japanese imperial rule, legends say the Japanese army often used the complex as a site for executions. Then following the war, the complex was converted into an asylum that was then left abandoned after several fires. And many think that between the deaths in World War II and the maltreatment of patients in the institution, the complex remains haunted by all different kinds of spirits. People claim to have seen headless poltergeists running down the corridors in the middle of the night, while the second floor is said to be haunted by a devilish-looking creature in traditional Chinese dress that spontaneously bursts into flames. Others have reported hearing the footsteps and screams of a girl or woman who is attacked by a Japanese soldier, and overall it's just a super creepy and haunted location. Moving on to number 3. Chaonei No. 81. According to legend, sometime in the middle of the 20th century, the building became the home of a powerful nationalist party official, but when the communists defeated the nationalists at the end of China's Civil War in 1949, it said the terrified official fled his home and disappeared off to Taiwan, leaving his wife behind. As the legend goes, in her grief after being left behind, his wife took her own life in the house, and many believe she continues to haunt the abandoned property to this day. Some people that have visited say they can hear her screams echo throughout the halls. Others say they've seen feet dangle from the rafters, but when they get close enough to help, it's as if they vanished into thin air. But that's not all. A number of disappearances have also been linked to this haunted house. It's said that the house was built for an English priest to be used as a church, but that he disappeared before construction was completed. When investigators searched the house, they found a secret crypt that opened onto a tunnel. And in 2001, legends say a group of construction workers renovating the basement adjacent to the building thought it would be fun to break through the thin wall separating the properties, and they were supposedly never seen again. Moving on to number 2, Qui Mansion. Near the beginning of the 20th century, the Chu brothers came to Shanghai as migrant workers and dreamed of becoming rich. Shortly after they arrived, they happened upon a warehouse that was filled with paint, which was becoming increasingly expensive, and that is when the pair's dream ended up coming true. They made their fortune selling the paint after World War I, and with the money, they built identical mansions next to one another in the heart of the city. The Chu brothers became notorious for their lavish and luxurious lifestyle, collecting exotic animals like tigers, crocodiles, and peacocks. But then suddenly, at the height of their fame and notoriety, the brothers mysteriously vanished and were never seen again. Following their disappearance, the mansion fell into disrepair, and it said neighbors even broke in to loot their riches and kill their exotic animals. Since then, people have claimed that the ghosts of the slain animals haunt the Chu mansions, and people have reported seeing and hearing strange noises and howls echo throughout the halls. One woman claimed to have seen a dragon crawling on a crane. In another incident, a mason attacked his manager after claiming lizards had ordered him to do so. But even scarier, night guards working for the Four Seasons Hotel across the street have sometimes gone to the hospital to be treated for unexplained animal bites. And last up in our number 1 spot, the Great Wall. Now, the Great Wall of China is easily the most well-known monument in the entire country, as it's also one of the 7 wonders of the world. But wouldn't you know, it's also rumored to be extremely haunted. And honestly, when you think about it, it's not that far-fetched. It's said that 1 to 2 million workers died during the centuries of construction, and many claim that their ghosts continue to haunt the wall to this day. Visitors have reported seeing ghosts along the wall or hearing the sounds of marching footsteps while no one else is around. Others have experienced more intense sensations, like sudden feelings of uneasiness, attacks of nausea, pain, or headaches, while the scariest encounters reported being slapped, punched, or grabbed by unseen beings. Now, according to local legend, the Wild Wall located north of Beijing is said to be the most haunted section, and apparently several hikers have actually died in the area under mysterious or inexplicable circumstances. But before you decide to never visit the wall, local legend claims that while you can expect to be haunted or even tormented by ghosts of the dead workers, you can also scare them away by stepping over a line of firecrackers. Well, that's all I got for you today, friends. Do you like visiting haunted places? If you do, let me know in the comments what is the scariest place you've ever visited. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.